This video is sponsored by Sellcashiercom. They compare iPhone prices on the internet and give you their instant quote and the most cash for your iPhone. Hey guys, this is Ed with Aquarium. Every year, many of us get excited for the new lineup of iPhones, and this year is no different. Precisely 2 weeks ago, Apple unveiled the Series 13 iPhones. Today we'll compare camera performances of iPhone 13, iPhone 13 Pro, and iPhone 13 Pro Max. iPhone 13 lags behind with its 12 megapixel 26mm wide-angle camera and its 1.6 focal length. Ultra-wide camera is also a 12 megapixel one, but at 13mm with its 2.4 focal length. Next are iPhone 13 Pro and 13 Pro Max. They share the exact same lens module. Its wide lens is a 12 megapixel 26mm one with a 1.5 focal length. Telephoto lens is now almost traditionally a 12 megapixel 77mm one with a 2.8 focal length. The module is completed with a 12 megapixel 13mm ultra-wide lens with its 1.8 focal length. Without further ado, let's see for ourselves the differences across these three newly designed and very expensive gadgets. This first set of images demonstrates a fundamental difference between the dual and the triple camera setup. The inferior image depth produced with this iPhone 13 is evident when compared against the images made with this iPhone 13 Pro and the iPhone 13 Pro Max. An absence of a telephoto lens in the 13 speaks for itself here, and the complexity of the image is slightly inferior to the flagships. 13 Pro and 13 Pro Max score the highest points, but if you were to superimpose the two images for the color gamut produced by both, it is different. 13 Pro Max image colors look deeper, and it likely has to deal with differences in the selected focus area. Brightness correction was certainly different here. This speaks for the complexity of an algorithm used in post-processing of these images. In a portrait mode, 13 Pro Max yet again produced the most contrast of the three, but likely proving the same concept explained previously. Notice that all three produce a nice and even background blur independent of the number of lenses in the camera module. While I give my personal preference to the 13 Pro Max, they all performed equally well, but with a 13 slightly lagging behind in a level of detail. In another example of a close-up but without a portrait mode, and under slightly less lighting, all three handsets perform almost equally well. So my subjective rating for this mode is an absolute draw. The level of detail in the color gamut produced by the three handsets is equal. Very subtle color palette differences, but just like in the previous image set, an unprecedented image quality. Objects in the background are close enough to not produce any visible distortion, and so the algorithm works as expected here. Another draw, but remember that for this setting, a dual camera module is just enough. And this is where the color correction algorithm did not work so well on our iPhone 13 and produced a far inferior image of the three. Interestingly enough, the focus settings were absolutely identical and centered on the right side of the image with mostly white as a main color. And here's our moderately lit setting with again the iPhone 13 producing the least depth of the picture. Whether you look at the very center of the photo or look at the granularity of the roadway, the 13 Pro and 13 Pro Max produce absolutely identical photographs here. With slightly more light, the 13 produced a slightly better photo but slightly less contrast. Notice how bricks are less pronounced in the first photograph, but stand out equally well on the second and the third images. Under low lighting conditions, iPhone 13 produced just a touch fewer details. We know from the previous close-ups that for a dual lens module, a close-up mode is no issue, but this proves that the 13 is capable of some great night snapshots. And finally, the selfie cameras. Selfie cameras are absolutely identical in all three. They are all 23mm, 12 megapixel wide lenses with a 2.2 focal length, and the selfies are also absolutely identical. And here's the slow-mo. You won't see the differences across the three. The capture frequency is so high that it allows you to see the most detail and the most color across the two different camera modules. iPhone 13 certainly compares well with the flagships, and all three did equally well here. While we only compare the cameras today, and there is more to come on performance in the upcoming video, I must note that the price difference between the 13 and the 13 Pro is marginal. 13 Pro gets additional points for its stainless steel frame, which is aluminum in the 13, and there's more RAM, to say the least, in the 13 Pro. Why wouldn't I give my preference to the 13 Max? Simply because of its size, and its price is exceeding $1,000 US. But this is a matter of choice. Guys, I hope you liked this video and learned something today. Please let me know if you enjoyed this video in the comments down below, hit that like button, and subscribe to my channel. See you in my next video very soon. I wanted to tell you about Sellcashiercom. So you just got your new iPhone. What will you do with your old one? You may be thinking of selling it on eBay, Craigslist, and so on, and it is definitely a hassle. Now you don't have to do that. Now you can sell it through Sellcashiercom. They compare the actual prices of iPhones and give you the best price for your iPhone that you are trying to sell, And the good thing is that you are guaranteed the best rate. You also get a free shipping label. Thank you for watching, and please check out Sellcashiercom.